Anituber, that is someone who talks about anime on YouTube for the uninitiated, Digibro, recently extended an olive branch to Justin Sevakis of Anime News Network. In his Answerman column on ANN, Sevakis addressed a complaint Digibro lobbed against the anime streaming service Crunchyroll. Digibro claimed that Crunchyroll isn't aiding the anime industry through its services, citing several complaints about the platform, his guess that the anime studios don't get much cash out of their deal with the site, and his irritation with Crunchyroll's original animation project, High Guardian Spice. Digibro read Sevakis' column and made a video response, admitting he was wrong about Crunchyroll's efficacy in helping anime studios and ensuring there is more anime for folks around the world to enjoy. Digibro was wrong. He admitted it. Sevakis seemed to take the conversation in a genuinely open-minded way. Mike Toole, who works with or for ANN, last I checked, blocked Digibro because he claims that he was leading a harassment campaign. Sevakis, a colleague of Toole, didn't agree that there was harassment. This is all the factual information I could put together on this incident in a short amount of time. This all got me thinking about a problem that cuts across all segments of American culture. I am Matthew, author, artist, and commentator, and these are my offhand remarks on tribal toxicity. So, it's a little silly that I'm talking about this in regards to anime. But, like I said, it cuts across all different areas of American culture, and I really think that people identifying with a certain group and seeking to further the goals of that group is a problem. I'm not going to accuse Mike Toole of being a leftist or progressive or whatever. I've mentioned before that I really enjoy the work of Tim Pool, who's a journalist on YouTube. He's alternative media, but old alternative media. He started way back in Occupy, and he was covering the Occupy Wall Street protests and sit-ins and all that stuff from years ago. And I think he used drone technology there, so it kind of gave him his big break. But recently he's been talking a lot about identitarianism and his problems with it, both on the left and right, or on either side of the political spectrum. And I have to say, I agree with him that identitarianism is dangerous. It's funny that I say that, and I'm kind of going to go into a lot of different subjects here, but I think identitarianism is bad for one reason, and that is that I think if you are trying to adhere to a certain ideology, it becomes us versus them, and I think that it's foolish and hurtful to the overall goal of having peace and prosperity for people to attack each other and for people to purposely try to destroy one another. Like I said, I listened to Tim Pool, and he's a Democrat of some sort, and he's liberal, but he isn't an identitarian. He's mixed race, which is kind of a gag. But anyway, he isn't identitarian, and he rejects people trying to be identitarian and make everything about identity, which is something I have a problem with too, because, like I was saying, when you form your identity around different people, really what happens is, in a lot of cases, is you basically form a tribal identity for yourself. And like I said, you otherize people, and once you do that, you start seeing them as subhuman, and they are to be destroyed. And this is a phenomenon that's seen in many places. There are all sorts of videos on YouTube that are about Ben Shapiro destroying this leftist, or owning the libs or whatever. And that kind of attitude does a major disservice to yourself. If you are constantly thinking about how to support your in-group, I believe you're stunting yourself from growth. And this is funny, because of anime. One thing I've taken away from anime, and actually video games, especially like JRPGs, like the Persona series, is that growth is really, really important. And I strive as much as I can to always push myself to grow. Now, some of that's because of my religious leanings. Yes, I'm religious. And if you've got a problem with that, that's on you, not on me. Anyway, but I think, due to my faith, that it's important for me to grow. And it's funny that that's something that's emphasized in, like I said, JRPGs and anime. And I think it's really important that people focus on their core identity being human, and that the main goal of humans should be to prosper with one another and to be happy and to strive for peace and harmony. To me, that should be the main thing. Now, some of you probably don't know this. Well, anybody who's looking at this because it's so anime influenced will probably get this, but I don't know if I should make Mike Toole Shinji or Asuka. I would think Shinji's a little worse, and he kind of aggrieved Asuka, but Asuka is, what is she, yandere or tsundere? I can't remember. I can't remember all those terms, but she's she's not a bad actor. She's just kind of a more negative influence, and she doesn't receive things as well as Shinji, although maybe he's being sincere about things, although maybe he isn't. So I don't know. I'm just going to go, I guess I know Digibro better than I know Mike Toole, which is to say I don't know either of them at all, except for what I've heard from them in different podcasts and stuff. And I'm not going to claim to know them because that's downright silly. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and proceed and make my outlines for these characters. Anyway, I'm just making this thing that's going to be a silly, nice, eye-catching image for the thumbnail for the video. Anyway, but yeah, the other day there were all sorts of people, and I talked about this, grieving for John McCain, which I think is fair, because he was a person and he died, and now his family will be without him, and that's sad for them. And there were a lot of people who, have celebrated. I wouldn't be shocked if there were people who, also celebrated the fact that the man had cancer and was dying, and that wasn't a problem for them because they didn't like his policies, or he was a Republican, and maybe if he was a Democrat, they would be more okay with it. And I'm not trying to say that Democrats are hateful people. I'm just saying that sort of thing happens. Those attitudes get expressed by people, and it's shocking to me that people who can't claim to be loving and peaceful and stuff like that, and who are concerned for the rights of others, would at the same time be willing to celebrate the death of somebody, especially somebody who they don't really know. It's sad. It's really sad that people would be like that. And I'm definitely not one of the people who celebrated McCain. I criticized him, though, too, because I think he's worthy of criticism, and especially, in his policies. I don't know about his person, but, he did things that led to bad stuff. And the reason I'm bringing this up in, regards to this conversation is because I'm not an identitarian. I'm kind of like an anti-identitarian because I believe in, the power of the individual, and maybe, I don't know, not the absolute goodness of the individual, the individual is the best unit, but I think regarding how do I put this? I think focusing on who the individual is important if you want to be just and righteous in how you treat people. Because when we reduce each other to tribal camps, then things go badly. And unfortunately, this video isn't going to go the way I planned. I had scanned a bunch of YouTube comments about the High Guardian Spice show that Crunchyroll's putting out, and my intention originally was to talk about that a little bit, because that's sort of, it's not really, but it's sort of at the a part of this argument going on between the two of them. Digibro criticized Crunchyroll for not being, very good for the anime industry, and he kind of claimed that part of what wasn't good for the anime industry was that Crunchyroll was making the show, but then he also expressed, concern that Crunchyroll's not getting anime creators, in Japan paid for the work that they're doing to produce the anime, and like he was concerned that it wasn't very profitable for them, which, like, to me, I asked the question then, well, why would they do it? People are logical actors, and people will do things that benefit them. And I guess in retrospect, and I listened to his video and I thought it was interesting, but in retrospect, it is kind of silly to think that these companies would be doing, would be working with Crunchyroll and, licensing their stuff to them just because. Like, like I'm saying, it makes sense that they would be reasonable actors and that they would act for their own benefit. And if Crunchyroll wasn't benefiting them, then why the heck would they stick with them? But still, I don't think it was a specious argument. Maybe it just wasn't very well thought out. And part of his claim is that he was, asking these questions because he doesn't have the insider information that some of the folks at ANN do. So it's kind of interesting. Again, like, I'm not on anybody's side. I'm on, the victim side, or I'm on the side of the truth. Like, I just want to know. Here's the thing. I'm trying to be, I basically have no stake in this because I'm not an anime fan. That's not how I would describe myself. I'm a person who enjoys anime, and I have enjoyed it, and I think I will continue to enjoy it. But, like, my identity isn't wrapped up in me liking, cartoons from Japan. My identity is wrapped up in me being a husband and a father and those sorts of things. But, even that doesn't necessarily do me justice, and I'm more than just those roles. And I guess what I'm saying is people who are wrapped up in their identities, they're like selling themselves short, and they're, damaging. They're not damaging themselves. I don't want to speak like a kind of person who tells people they don't know what they think and like they're not competent to care for themselves, because I'm very much for independence and freedom. The computer's freezing up. Anyway, Mike Toole's free to block Digibro. That's fine. I really liked that Sevakis really gave him a fair shake and gave him a chance to explain himself, and I think all of that's very healthy, and I laud Sevakis for that, and I think he, by reaching out, he's going to benefit, maybe Digibro, maybe ANN, and the reason I say that is because when you are able to talk to people who you disagree with and come to terms with them and figure out, what their issues are, typically there's a good chance that you're going to actually be able to mend fences and, build bridges. And I think those are laudable goals, because if we, keep ourselves closed off from other people's opinions, and we don't ever put ourselves through the stress and strain of trying to grapple with what other people think about the world, then we become closed off. And like I said earlier, we harm ourselves in doing that. And that's certainly not how I want to be. And from what I've heard of Digi, that's not his intention. But this goes beyond them. It's more, I'm more concerned with, people cutting themselves off from, opportunities for growth. And, I think it's too bad. It kind of seems like maybe Toole's in the camp where he might be more open to that. And here's the thing. I don't want to keep ragging on Mike Toole because, like I said, I don't really know the guy, and I don't care to rag on him. I just think he's a really good representation of the ideas that people want to cloister themselves off, sort of, and not deal with other people's issues. And again, it's your right to do that, but I would submit to you that you will be better off as a person if you can kind of bear with people and figure out what their issues are. And specifically, I would say if you can manage to not match wits, but deal with other people's problems. If you can hear other people out on their opinions on things. I think that will really benefit you. And I want everyone to be healthier, happier, stronger, and more capable of doing things. And I think if you just adhere to a tribe, like I've got a bunch of relatives and people I know who, are way into Trump, and I'm not, and that bothers me, but I'm not going to reject having any sort of relationship with them, because I feel like if I did that I would be eliminating people from my life who, well, I mean, it's not even about, wanting to argue with them to prove them wrong. It's more like, I don't know, it kind of just doesn't make sense to me to do that sort of thing. So maybe that was a bad example. Yikes. Maybe that was a bad example. I'm going to go purple on this shirt for this guy. So, I don't know. It's really interesting. It's funny, or it's not funny, it's actually disturbing. On Tim Pool's videos, he fairly frequently has people commenting, like he'll do a story and he'll, think about it and say things, and then someone will just comment, progressivism poisons everything. And I think that those people are also hurting themselves, because they're not willing to listen to other people, and they're just knee-jerk reaction. Their knee-jerk reaction is just to reject any sort of progressive idea, and I think that's not good. It's not good for them. It's not good for the nation as a whole. It's not good for people to just shut out the things that they don't agree with, because that's not how life works. You can do that, but I just think you really hurt yourself and limit your possibilities for growth when you do that. So it's a little disappointing. I guess that's really all I wanted to say. I don't want to go on much longer, and this is this whole art thumbnail thingy is taking me a lot longer than I would like. So I think I'm going to go ahead and cut it there, although I don't know. Like I said, I don't want this to be overly long, but at the same time, maybe there's more I can say. I don't know. There are accusations made against, well, you know what? Yeah, I think I'm going to stop there, because I really don't know what more to say, and I'm not sure that it will benefit me to say those things that I'm not even sure about. So I'll stop now. Anyway, if you like this appeal to sensibility and calm and talking to people to work out issues and to make the world a better place by not necessarily connecting with people you hate, but by trying to build bridges and not just immediately dismiss people, well then I guess that's the one identity thing I might hold on to. I just want to give people a chance, and I want to make inroads as best I can to make things better. And I feel like just reflexively anyway, so if you agree with me about that sort of stuff, then I would appreciate it if you would give me a like. You can share this, you can subscribe, you can do all that jazz. If you have any opinions or want to say anything about this whole issue, go ahead and leave something in the comments, and we can have a conversation about it, or you can talk to me on Twitter. I'm over there too. So I bid you adieu until next time, folks.